Hello there, it's me, Miss Madala. Nice to see you again. Did you know that November is Native American Heritage Month? Yeah. Who are the Native Americans? Well, actually, I'm glad that you asked. The Native Americans were the first people to arrive in the Americas. So Christopher Columbus didn't really discover America. It was indigenous people or Native Americans who were here and knew the land and lived here for thousands and thousands of years. Native Americans have their own culture, their own spiritual beliefs, their own languages. They're divided into tribes. So different tribes have their own customs. Maybe you've heard of the Cherokee, the Apache, the Sioux, the Iroquois. I'll link a good video for you to watch to learn more about Native Americans. All that to say, Happy Native American Heritage Month! Today we've got a great lesson in store. We're going to learn how to make kale chips. Woohoo! Yeah! And the kale, I picked it right from your very own school garden. So it's really fresh and really yummy and grown with a lot of love. So join me for this awesome lesson. You're in store for a treat. First, let's do a quick breathing exercise. The same one we do every time. Everybody stand up. Good job. All right, close your eyes. Stand with your arms at your side. And you're gonna take a deep breath in and lift your hands overhead. Breathe out, bring your arms down by your side. Breathe in, lift your hands overhead again. Breathe out, bring your arms down by their side. Inhale, lift your hands up again. Exhale, bring your arms down by either side. Last time, take a really deep breath in. And breathe out, bring your arms down. And now we're going to do one of my favorite parts of our little warm-up. We're gonna wiggle out all of our giggles. So when you're ready, start wiggling. And stop. Stand very still, and we're gonna take one more breath. Take a deep breath in and breathe out with an open mouth. All right, we're almost ready to get started. Now let's go over our agreements for today. First, be respectful of your teacher, your parents, your friends, and yourself. Second, be open. When I ask you a question, don't be afraid to answer out loud. And third, have fun, because fun is the heart of learning, you know. All right, let's head to the kitchen and make some kale chips. Most importantly, we gotta wash our hands before we begin. So for our recipe, we're using kale from the garden. If you look, you'll see I picked it straight from our very own school garden. And it's beautiful and fresh, and it's going to be really yummy. first thing first, we have to wash our kale really well. So I'm washing it here under running water to make sure I get any dirt or impurities out of our kale so that we can use it for our recipe. So welcome to my kitchen. So now we've got clean hands and clean kale. Our first step is to preheat the oven to 275. And you don't want to try and make wet kale into chips because it'll, rather than becoming crispy and nice, it'll steam itself and be soggy and more like cooked kale. And so to avoid that, I'm going to take some clean paper towel and just dab at the kale to dry it off. If you have a salad spinner, then you can use that to dry it off as well. And now our next step is to take off the stem from our leaves. So what you can do is hold onto the leaf and then pull your fingers up on the stem and then just remove the leaf. And then you can toss the stems or compost them. So I'm going to set my stems over here. I would say start with one bunch of kale. I have a little bit of a small bunch, so we'll see how much it makes. But if you're going to the grocery store, definitely just get one bunch and see if that'll be enough for you. It should make it a good amount of kale chips. Now that we removed all of our stems from our kale, and I patted it down just one more time to make sure it's extra dry, we're going to tear with our fingers the kale into big chunks. So when the kale's in the oven, it's going to shrink down, it's going to reduce. The water in the kale is going to evaporate to make a crispy, nice chip. So don't cut them into or tear them into too small pieces. Tear them into pretty good little chunks so that when they become chips, they're just the perfect size. Now that we've gotten it down to size, we're going to take our olive oil and drizzle about 2 tablespoons of olive oil onto the leaves. So I'm just eyeballing it here, but you really want the oil to completely cover the kale. And after you've sprinkled your oil on there, you can use your hands, use your clean hands to massage the kale. So you're mixing it up and massaging it a little bit. As you're massaging, you're breaking down the cell walls. So this is changing the kale just a little bit before it goes into the oven. Now you can spread it out a little bit. And I've used parchment paper on my pan just to keep it clean so I don't have to do too much washing when I'm done. Now I'm going to sprinkle some spices on. First, I'm going to start with pink Himalayan salt, but you can use regular table salt or sea salt. Whatever you have in your cabinet works just fine. So I like to put a little bit into my hand and then sprinkle with my fingers. You don't want to put too much now, because you can always add more, but you can't take any away. All right. And I'm going to add some nutritional yeast. So that's all I'm gonna add as far as spices goes. But you can add red pepper, you can add chipotle powder, you can add garlic powder and onion powder, you can add oregano, you could add whatever you want. This is where you get creative. So I'm just gonna mix it around again. Make sure all the pieces get coated with the nutritional yeast and the salt. The nutritional yeast gives it a nice cheesy flavor without adding cheese. So it's a nice option in case you're in the grocery store and you're thinking about it. I would say go for it. So you want to spread it out on your pan so each one kind of has its own space, not too clumped up or layered. You can also taste your chip to make sure the seasoning's right. Pretty good. Anytime that you're using an oven, make sure you have the permission of an adult or the help of an adult. Because it gets so hot, you can burn yourself and really get hurt. So now, with the help of your parents, we're gonna put our kale chips in the oven. And I'm gonna set a timer for 20 minutes. And then our kale chips will be ready to eat. So we've got our delicious kale chips. They came out pretty good. Look at that, nice and crispy. I'm gonna sprinkle a little more nutritional yeast. And now they're ready to serve. So this is a healthy snack, easy to do, and turns out great. So that's all for today. Remember to keep smiling, take it one day at a time, and until next time, have a good one.